Alright, so I'm kind of just sitting here on lunch, finished watching a video, and it kind of just got me wanting to rant about some stuff that kind of irritates me, mainly about just people in general. But just to give you an idea of what I'm going to be talking about, the video in question is a video that a creator put out that I just recently started watching in the past couple months. Her name's Hex Juice. And she put out a video, basically, just to kind of summarize it in a bad, poor way, it's somebody spreading misinformation about a voice actor. So, like, the context of the video isn't so much what I'm going to talk about, the people in it or who was involved in it. What I'm going to talk about is more to do with how people act in general. It's going to be about, I'm going to talk about the game industry, probably content creation on YouTube, social media stuff, and I'm going to also talk about stuff that is similar within my job and experience. But yeah, so I wanted to start off by saying I absolutely hate people. Like, I don't hate a person, but I hate people, because people are random, don't know what their intentions are, and you don't know what they're capable of. So what bothers me is me having lived here in life for my 40 plus years. I have come to see all kinds of different shades of people. And the ones that piss me off the most are ones that will try to manipulate a situation and will try to manipulate information to show themselves in a better light and to show that they're the victim, they're not a bad guy, whatever. And it irritates me. I'm gonna give you an example. So, pertaining to my job, I work retail. I am in management. I have had to hire people for my area within the last 6-7 months, and I just recently took over an area of the store. I've needed to fill it with people because when I came in, I only had 2 people. One of them was great. The other one was, for lack of a better term, useless. And so I got rid of that person because they were within their time frame of being a new hire to where I could fire them without any huge reason. I could basically skip all the steps to them needing to get fired if they were long term. So I pushed them out and I started to bring in new people. I brought in one person. They are still here because they are an excellent worker. Another person I brought in along with that person, they were young. This was their first job. I kind of tried to teach them, go over what the job entailed, and it looked like they were going to be a good worker. And then it started to go downhill. They would consistently not do their job. Things were being left that shouldn't be left undone. And I had to eventually fire this person. But the thing is anytime I would approach this person and talk to them about this and be like, hey, here's what is going on, here's the problems I'm seeing, what is going on? Like, are you having trouble understanding things? Do you know what your job is? Do you understand? I'm trying to be nice and professional about it. And they're just like, yeah, everything's fine. I don't know what they're talking about. What are these people talking about? I don't understand. I'm doing my job. I'm always in the department. I'm always here. I don't know why people are saying these things. Fine. And they said this all the way up till the end. And it was to the point that the last day that they worked and I was going to fire them, they didn't even show up and had their stuff dropped off because I guess they were just tired, right? Just tired of having to deal with it. I don't understand, why you would lie and think you could get away with it. And this is after I also told them, just because I'm not here while you're working doesn't mean I don't know what's going on, because I have enough of a rapport with the people in this building that they will tell me anything and everything. I don't even have to ask for information most of the time. I will just be told things. Like, hey, have you heard about this? Or, hey, this person is not working. Or, hey, this person's a great worker. Whatever it is, I will hear about it. And then I can take that information and I can go out and gather my own information. And if I can find enough people to say and collaborate the same thing, then I see that as truth. Which leads me to the next topic. These people will spew their nonsense to make you believe their narrative, even if you have all of the evidence against them. They will play the victim and say, oh, everybody's just against me. That's why. I'm not a bad person. Go ask this person. And sure, they might have 1, 2, 3 people, that will side with them. But for me, the majority always rules. And in that context, it's if you go to a person and ask them about a situation and they tell you what they know, and you go to several people after that, and all of the people you go to will build onto that same narrative and say very similar things. Like, yeah, I noticed this person likes to take long breaks, right? And then everybody will be like, yeah, I've seen them before go out and sit in their car for like 45 minutes or something, and they're not on lunch. They're taking like a long break without even telling anybody they're going on break. The narrative gets set up and all the information builds on this person, and then they will just lie to your face. And I've had to deal with this with a person that I was managing, and I've had to present this information to them and be like, listen, here is everything that I know. So can you tell me what the problem is? And their only defense would be, oh, everyone's out to get me. I'm going to play the race card. I'm going to play the sex card, the religion card. They'll play everything that they can to get out of the situation. And when you're in a corporate setting, it's hard to get through that because those types of things are very serious allegations. So they have to be investigated, which is why people will pull this out and use it as a defense. And I can't stand it. And this particular person, I spent months investigating them, going through other people's testimonies, trying to gather all the information I could about them. I had camera footage of their work ethic and what they were doing during their day, everything. But before I could do anything about it, I had to step away from my role and take on a different position. So that person basically got to run the show of, their routine against new management who had no idea. And even me presenting them with all the information and being like, hey, here's everything I've gathered about this person. You might want to keep following up on it because if they continue, then they need to be let go. Nothing happened. They continued to let it drag on. And then it eventually got to a point where when they were about to be fired, there was a loophole that had happened that I was unaware of that allowed them to stay. And now that happened, they are still here, still causing the same problems, and people continue to let it happen. Now, I've said all this, and it's mainly to just tell you and present to you how ridiculous a situation can get when people don't get a handle on it. If you allow these people to run their narrative and to speak their misinformation, then enough people will just continue to run with it and allow it to happen. Or in the case of where I work, it's easier to just ignore the problem and not deal with it because there's plenty of other people that are around that can come in and pick up that slack or whatever the work is that person's not doing, and they can finish it for themselves. And that's frustrating, which is why a lot of people will leave their job. It's not necessarily the people they work with, it's the management. The management is what causes people to leave a job because it can be the worst job in the world, such as retail. Retail is a pretty horrendous job. I've been doing it for like 15 plus years at this point. And people will hate it, but they don't mind doing it because it's really not that, ridiculous. So people will leave a job because of their management. It's because some managers can be extremely punishing when it comes to making their people work. They can be very aggravating. They can be, unable to comprehend your problems, or they just don't care about your problems because it's not affecting them. Their work is getting done by their people regardless. So why would they deal with another person who's causing a minor issue as long as everyone else is picking up that work? So to go back into this and to get into how this is related to the video I watched, I've noticed with content creation and in social media in general, people will just spout off stuff and, claim it as fact and then say it in such a way that they can backpedal on it later if they need to. And for me, it's not, a lot of people will get frustrated with it. And like, for example, with this video I watched with Hex Juice, she was getting frustrated with it to the point that I don't know how she's thinking or what she's thinking of the situation. But in my mind, all I see is this person is manipulating this drama, not even drama. It was something that they had created as drama, and they were manipulating the situation to where they could compound on it and keep creating content. And it's not that they didn't know, because it sounds like if you listen to them, it sounds like, they don't understand, they don't know why this person would say this about their video that they didn't even watch long enough, right? It's not that they don't know, they do know. They always know. And that's what I've learned. And it took me quite a while, but I've learned that whenever somebody is spreading misinformation or trying to play victim or trying to defend themselves from whatever terrible, irrational thing that they're doing, they are fully aware of their actions. They know exactly what they're doing. And the reason they're doing it is because they're good at it. And they can spin that narrative in a way that it will confuse people, and it'll make them be like, yeah, that sounds right, But people like me, or people like Hex Juice, or some of the other content creators that I've watched, whether you like them or hate them, Tectone, Gotcha Smack is another one that I watch consistently, that talk about these problems. And in our heads, we know what's going on. We know, and we get frustrated about it, and it can be difficult to actually enunciate that and to speak it into the world to where people understand, and to make it not look like we're the crazy ones, right? Because that's the other part of it, is they can manipulate the situation to where it makes you look like the one making the situation worse, and you're the one causing the problems, and it's your fault. But it's not, because it's people like us that do the due diligence and gather the information and understand what is going on. We have the full context and we can speak it. And when that happens, these people will either backpedal and apologize, which I don't see happen at all, almost like that's non-existent, or they will distance themselves from the people that are a threat to their narrative. And for some people, for content creation, I'm sure they're fine with responding to these videos and calling these people out, and that's great. And I'm glad that there are people out there that will call these people out, because it helps me, for one, to know who to avoid. Because if I see a person like Hex Juice, for example, her videos started showing up on my feed, and I watched them, and I believe one of the first videos I watched was about her experience in Honkai Star Rail and the crazy stuff that was happening to her because she wasn't following the meta, right? And I was like, yeah, that's kind of ridiculous. And so I watched some more of her videos and kind of checked out some more stuff about her, saw some other content creators talk about her, and I realized, okay, she gets it. And that's how I find my people. I'll watch a video, I'll investigate, I'll gather information, I'll be like, yeah, they seem like a good person to watch. And to go bigger than that, let's talk about Tectone. He's another one. He's probably the biggest one in the space, which is why he gets so much crap about anything when drama comes up. And yeah, he runs with it, and he plays his narrative, and he does all that for entertainment purposes and to defend himself. But when I first started watching him, he was still playing Genshin. And I had started playing Genshin, but he was getting out of the space. But seeing the things that people said about him was like crazy. And I'm like, what is going on? But when I actually went to look up information about it, I'm like, this dude has done nothing wrong. He's done absolutely nothing wrong. And then I go and I actually get to see it in real time and see the drama happen and him react to it and have to deal with it. And it was the drama that happened with Yoonjin, is that her name from Genshin? The singer, the 4-star Geo singer character. He had said something, I don't know the exact context, right? at this moment, but he had said something about her singing and kind of made fun of it in a way, right? But I saw the full context of it, but other people spun the narrative that, oh, he's racist. I can't believe he would say that stuff. And they just ran with it. So when you get to see it in real time, it's like, holy crap, that's insane. And then the moment that I knew that it was even worse than I imagined is where I work at. One of my coworkers I would talk to about gacha games, and they'd be like, I mentioned, I watch these people, and I mentioned Tectone, and they're like, you watch that guy? Don't you know he's a racist? He's done some terrible things. And I'm like, really? Out of all the people that I talk to, I feel like you're better than that, right? Like, this is a person I thought was better than that and understood more and could process information properly. So it was really wild to see that happen to me in person. Now, I still talk to that person and we're fine. I didn't bring anything up. I just stopped talking about certain content creators around them because there's no point. Like, some people are just stuck in their ways and, you can't convince them otherwise. So yeah, seeing this happen every day, and I still don't know why I even watch this stuff. Some of this I've tried to distance myself from. I've cut off a lot of my social media in general. With this channel, I'm kind of starting getting new social media, and I'm following very particular things to keep up to date with information, and I want to make sure my sources are good if I talk about anything. And now, just watching that video kind of triggered in my brain, like, I really just want to talk about this. I hate people and I hate their nonsense. And I hate when they do this just to drive drama. It kills me. And to watch, I think the worst part being that people will follow this and just blindly go with it. Like, why? To me, that just tells me that you're either too young still to understand that you need critical thinking in your life, or two, you actually have some kind of mental deficiency that causes you to not be able to process this information and to understand what's actually going on. The last thing I want to talk about has to do more with social media. Just seeing the drama that happens on social media whenever a new thing about a video game comes out, because I keep an eye on a lot of things in the gaming industry that I'm interested in, at least. And recently, the Sony State of Play just came out. A lot of people are mixed on how the presentation was, the games and whatever. About the only thing I was super hyped about was Silent Hill 2. There wasn't a whole lot else that I was like, cool, because I don't, a lot of those games I'm not into. But with Silent Hill 2, for example, there's always this like weird narrative that comes out with some games where people will pick out a female character in whatever game that they've decided to, chew into, and they'll be like, oh God, she's ugly. Why would they do this? She looks like a man. She's hideous. And then they'll eventually, within a day or two, somebody will have edited a picture of them to be more presentable or whatever, or more likable or hotter or sexier or whatever. And it, all I can think is why? Why do you do this? Do you not understand what people are like in the world? You have to understand that people are all different. We don't all look the same. We're not all gonna look good to each other. Everybody has a preference for a person that they like. So why are you changing a character's design to fit what you like? I'm sorry they don't look good to you and they're not attractive. But in the example of Silent Hill 2, that character that they're pissed about right now, Angela, she's an abuse victim. They're like, she's not hot enough. I can't imagine having sex with her. That's stupid. Why are you even thinking about that? Do you even know what Silent Hill is? And a lot of these people, I don't even think they know what the game is or the context of the game. That game specifically has some really crazy shit in it. If you haven't played it, if you can find a copy of the original to play, I highly recommend you play it. And if you can't, then wait for this to come out in October and play it. Because I can only hope they've kept the narrative the same. It is absolutely insane. And I cannot wait to play it. But yeah, these people just do this to these characters and they get upset about it. And even ones that are already in that oh, I'm hot and sexy category, the one, for example, which I was waiting to see actually, was in Stellar Blade. I was like, people love it. They were all about it. They're like, oh my God, she's so hot. This is great. This is exactly what I wanted. Whatever. And of course you had the people that are like, oh, stop objectifying women and, this isn't right, whatever. Okay, Matter of opinion. Whatever you feel, I get it. Just don't buy it. Don't even look at it. It's fine. People are going to advertise to certain demographics. Sexy, hot women fighting is not a thing you like. Fine. Other people do like it, and that's why these developers created it. But when that game came out and they, like, I don't know, did a day one patch or something where they changed some of her outfits to make her, like, slightly less sexy, people lost their minds, claiming censorship or whatever. And, you know, I'm not going to say I know why they did it. I mean, they can say, oh, we did it because it was part of our creative vision. Whatever. You know, if that's their narrative, cool. I'm not gonna try and be like, oh no, it's a conspiracy. They did it because they were getting pressure from whatever other country and they had to, you know, kind of bring it back a little on the sexiness and how revealing she was and whatever. And it's like, why? Why are you mad? You were just excited about it a minute ago. Not much has really changed. Like, absolutely, as far as I could tell, barely anything changed about the damn character. Oh god, they covered some cleavage. Who cares? Play the game. I haven't even played it still. I played the demo. I thought it was great. And I know once I do play the actual game, I'm going to be like, boy, I'm terrible at this. You know, because I'm old and I'm getting worse at video games. But that's for another day. I'm sure I'll talk about that one, because that's something I really want to delve into a little bit. But yeah, so that's my thoughts. Do you have any crazy thoughts about how people work, how misinformation works, how things spread, how this insanity happens with people? Do you like people? Do you have people that you like? Or are you like me and you like a person? You like a person that you know, right? You like them, but you don't like people because you don't know people. I don't know people. Who are all these random people I see every day? I don't know them. For all I know, half of them are serial killers, right? Yeah, let me know down below. Leave a like if you like this. Sub, ring the bell. I don't know. Do all the things that you need to do so you can listen to me ramble and yell at clouds. And yeah, thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.